You need to morph to get your armor.
Oh, I knew it! We do get armor.
The original Mighty Morphin suits are iconic, but we really wanted to stretch beyond the spandex with the film and stay true to the iconic diamond and harlequin pattern and the iconic helmets and integrate those into a new design where you immediately looked at them and said, that's a Power Ranger.
We were just doing publicity shots, and he was like, oh, so we're gonna come back in a few months and do some of the suits. And I was like, the suits? I was like, what? Oh, the suits! Like, it's been this mythical thing that we haven't kind of, we haven't physically seen or touched, but we've just seen sketches. We've heard it's, flipping expensive that I'm gonna be so scared, like, to eat or do anything, like get a stain of like mustard down it or something. That'd be awful.
To me, the suits embody everything that I love about the series. Everything that, the idea of superheroes, the whole lot. These suits are so different. You've never seen anything like this before. You've never touched anything like this. You've never watched anything like this. This is new and original to this project.
Give me your hand. Sam, look at me. It's okay. Give me your hand.
So the suits were a very, obviously, probably the most important thing in this entire movie was to make sure the suits were interesting, beautiful, unique.
What we wanted to do was bring the alien source of the Rangers' powers to life visually in the suits, in the Zords, in the Megazord, for the first time ever.
When I very first met Dean, he showed me early illustrations that had been worked out between the studio and Legacy. And they had several different directions they were going in. Like, I think there were 3 to 4 directions.
Yeah, I mean, we created sort of this double layer so that it felt like the suits had originated from them, but then also became armor. And that double layer necessitated a kind of a resin. And then they had to develop ways to create that resin so that it felt like its own material, but was also see-through into this sort of underlayer.
Here we have one of the later illustrations of the Pink Ranger that started this is a 3D drawing. They originally started as 2D and then we worked into the 3D models. This is still on sort of superhero proportions, which basically means that we use the head size as superhero proportions, like 8 heads to a body length, when the real human length is like 6 heads. So they just feel more elongated and superhero, and they've got that classic sort of pose.
Weta built the suits. They were originally designed by Legacy. Legacy had some great designs, and then Weta took that over and had to sort of turn it into something practical. And so they made some adjustments, but I think in general it stayed pretty true to the original designs that Legacy came up with. There were definitely some adjustments, but there was a lot in actually building them, a lot to figure out.
And one of the challenges that we first needed to do, obviously, is that when you're doing concept design, you're putting the designs onto very heroic proportions, to sell how cool they are. And but of course, we need to build suits to fit the actors, but also the stunt doubles as well.
And then it was taking those designs and then starting to put them onto the performers. And starting to try to figure out how these sort of muscular type armor pieces would actually fit onto a body and then work as a physical suit.
When I first saw the suit, it's interesting because it comes in so many different parts. So it's not just one suit, it's all these different parts, different shin pads. It's like armor. You're basically building on an armor.
Obviously, Power Rangers do a lot of dynamic action work. And so what we need to do is make sure that the suits actually function really, really well. And that's the starting point. You have to have functional design.
Up to 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's pretty good.
Well, the suits, the Power Ranger suits that the Weta made, was fantastic. I mean, they look amazing, number one. And the people from Weta really worked with us. They kind of made adjustments. They made the certain parts softer or shorter, and they made it so they wear different shoes, and they really modified it because when the stunt doubles and the actors went in these suits, at first they couldn't see, they couldn't walk properly, it was hard to breathe, and it was really tight. And so they made modifications, and they did a fantastic job, and these suits are phenomenal.
So we had a big day today. We tried on the red stunt suit, and we tried on the blue stunt suit, and the pink stunt suit, and the yellow stunt suit. We were going to try the black stunt suit on, but we kind of figured out most of what we need to with the different fittings. We've learnt quite a lot about how everything fits, and we've got little attachments and things we need to hide. But it's been a really a long day, but a really informative day. And the other thing that's really cool is we were able to bring in everyone from around the shop and show them as a collective unit. And the minute they go from being little pieces or little pictures on there and they start actually being on a body, and someone starts to put some attitude and some presence into the suits, everything changes, and it's starting to look really, really cool.
I mean, that process that these companies go through to make one of those suits, I've just never seen anything like it.
Once I saw it for the first time, it was a 3-hour fitting. It was layers on top of layers and armor on top of armor and placing it where we needed it to be. And the incredible team at Weta who made the suits were like, sorry, they kept apologizing. And I'm just there like, when is this gonna be over? Finally, they placed one of those long mirrors in front of me, and I was speechless. And right then and there, my shoulders relaxed, my posture changed. I felt like one with the suit.
The people over at Weta who designed and constructed the suits, they did such an amazing job with just making them fit to our bodies, right? And it was like being in the suit was it almost makes you want to go and stand in front of a car and see if you can flip it. But then you think, and then you're like, okay, never mind. Or just a movie.
But then the moment really comes when you put on the mask, and then you start feeling, when you put on that mask, you just start feeling like a superhero. And then now I get what the mask's all about. You know, when you put on that mask, you're anonymous.
What?
That's dope.
What? I got something on my face.
Yeah.
Oh! Okay, now that's cool.
That mask doesn't represent you anymore. It takes your personality away, and anyone can be behind that mask as long as they believe that they want to do good and be a hero.
It just looked so killer, so badass, and I was like, dude, I'm a Power Ranger, this is amazing. So all the uncomfortableness that I went through was so worth it, and then once we got to see what it looked like on camera, oh my God, we lost it. We were like, this is amazing.
Oh man, that's a lot of gold.
Let's get the Zords. We're gonna protect the crystal, right?
Look, you saw what Rita did to us, and now she's got this Goldar thing.
We are going to Angel Grove, right?
Yeah. We're going to Angel Grove, but we're probably not coming back.
Just as long as no one dies alone this time.
We are doing things in the suit manufacture that they have never done before in any superhero suit manufacturer. We are using materials they've never used before. We are using ideas they've never used before to try and make these the most cutting edge, the most contemporary, badass suits that the franchise could hope for.
The first thing that I felt when I saw these suits was relief. Because there's so much expectation. On the one hand, it's got to feel like it belongs on it, it's real, like you saw in the original series. On the other, it's got to be super cool. It's got to have its own aesthetic.
They had to invent technology in order to capture the textures that we were trying to put into the suits, so that was awesome.
Oh! This is so much better with armor!
So that sort of effort of form with function, 1 foot in the old world of the Power Rangers, 1 foot in the new world of superheroes and what we expect of suits is really, you know, it's an ambitious thing to have to try to do, and it's a little scary.
And of course, how they came on, how they morphed onto the kids was of utmost importance, because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So it's like, without having a really good morphing mechanism, you might as well not make the movie.
What's amazing about the suits is that they come from within. It comes from this inner energy, this inner strength, and from all the other elements in the universe.
Yeah, the morphing energy is a very important element for Dean and the studio and Saban to have this energy coursing through the veins and starting from the diamond in the chest that is sort of a symbol in the world of the Power Rangers. But that is like looking into the galaxy.
We talked about sort of that the suits would grow or almost form from the molecules that were already kind of existing around the kids. So it'd be part of their skin, or in the molecules that were directly around their skin would be repurposed as the suit.
So we literally wanted what is the source of the Rangers' powers, the morphing grid, that alien source of power, to be literally glowing and flowing and serve as the lifeblood of this alien exoskeleton suit that literally forms onto their body in a form-fitting way.
So we started off by doing tests with Pixelmundo, who ended up doing the morphing and developing all that. And we literally shot with one of their artists. We had him in the lobby, and we borrowed a red camera from a friend of ours, and we shot a test. And we actually have a shot that's actually very similar to that in the movie, where it's that moment of discovery of like the kids sort of realizing, holy crap, as this is sort of growing on them. So we literally did that. We shot just a test of him in a t-shirt, and Pixelmundo spent probably 2 months sort of creating just an initial test, and we showed the studio, and everyone was kind of on board with like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great moment because it had taken so much work and so many different sort of layers to the process of just concept, and then seeing fabrics, and then seeing textures and materials, and then finally sort of seeing them all put together.
Gosh, we just wanted it to work because it looked so great on paper. We just wanted them to work, and they needed to work, because once you go down that kind of road, you don't have another year to do it again. And they looked, I thought, fantastic. They looked like they were like exactly what you would, I think, want a Power Ranger suit to become.